Yo, what's good everybody? I'm Blitz5 and I am back with another PUBG tutorial. I just posted my tutorial about using the PUBG-replay.com feature to watch your replays online. I'm not affiliated with that website. I just thought it was helpful, and I also think that this website is helpful, and this is battlegrounds.party. And here you can see a bunch of information about weapon damage and statistics, so that's what this video is going to be about. This stuff is super important if you kind of want to get an edge in PUBG, and I also found some of it to be pretty fascinating because a lot of the information I hear out there when I'm playing on Xbox doesn't really seem to be correct. And one caveat and kind of thing I need to do, a disclaimer before I get into this video, is that none of this information is coming directly from PUBG or Blue Hole Corporation. In fact, they have not released the official damage and weapon statistics for this game. There's just been a bunch of people posting online, different Excel sheets you can find on the internet, on Reddit, and this website seems to present it in the best way or the easiest way, and it has a lot of like visualizations here with the different images of guns and the damage percentages and all this stuff. So I enjoyed using this website, but there's a lot of different places and information you can see. The information is going to vary, one, because it's not exact. So these people are either doing some kind of study or API download off the data. And then also it's coming from PC. So depending on what update you're looking at, the information is going to be different. And I think this is using the May update. So this information is pretty current. And then obviously, going to the Xbox hasn't been updated with weapon stats or weapon damage yet, so the Xbox is going to be using the original weapon stats, but the weapon changes haven't been that significant over time. Only a few weapons have changed. I think like the shotgun and some of the ARs were balanced. There's going to be more changes incoming, but as a whole, I feel like knowing this information will help you in the game, and it's roundabout right. Nobody knows the exact information anyways, so just having some of the knowledge here and the roundabout information, I feel like can help you guys make better decisions, choose better guns, and just know what's going on. And I don't know if I mentioned it in the beginning, I just find this stuff to be really interesting because there's so much different data out there, and hearsay. People say like, oh, this weapon's better than the other one, but then when you look at the stats, it's a little bit different. So let's get into it. Let's see what we're looking at here. So on the let's start with, we got all the guns here, damage. We can put on vests on the top. The first thing I'm going to do is move this to 15 meters, okay? You can put this at 0, 15, 100. And if you're in the US, the best way to think about meters is it's a little bit more than 10 yards. So 10 yards in America is very easy to visualize because that's one section on a football field, or it's every yard is 3 feet. So 10 yards is 30 feet, and I feel like that's a pretty good visualization in everybody's mind. I use a football field all the time when I'm playing PUBG. So technically, I think 10 meters equals almost 11 yards. So that's like 33 feet. So let's just stick with that. So 10 meters is 11 yards. So if you're talking about 40 meters, you're talking what? 44 yards, okay? Or am I wrong with that? I think that's right. So if we're talking 15 meters, then we're going to be saying maybe we got 16, 17, 18 meters. 18 yards, somewhere in that general vicinity. I don't know why I'm having like a brain fart, but basically think it's almost a 10 to 10 ratio, and I think that's going to help you guys a lot. And the reason why I'm choosing 15 is because I feel like a lot of gun battles in this game happen between the 5 and 30 meter mark. So I figured, 15 is a nice middle damage because there is damage drop off as time goes on. So obviously, if you put it down to 0, all of the shotguns and stuff like that are going to have the best range, and if you put it to 200 meters, the shotguns are going to have no damage because they're not doing damage at 200 meters. It kind of works like that. So you need to find a happy ground, happy medium, if you want to look at these stats correctly. So the first thing I wanted to show you guys is that they have, as soon as you look at this, it's broken down kind of by weapon classes. So we have the assault rifles, the AUG, M16, M4, SCAR, and it's not separated by body area, it's just separated by weapon right now. So then you can go in and see that, so it's hard to look at this stuff because there's so many different categories, right? Like one gun that might have the strongest head damage might not have the strongest upper chest damage. So you also have to break down what you're looking at, right? So it's hard to just say like the Mini 14 is better than the VSS because it's just better in the head. But then if you look across, it's better in the upper chest, it's better in the lower chest, it's better in every single category. And then of course you look at the top here, we're also going to have to factor in time to kill. So there's a lot of stuff we need to look at here. But all right, so let's just start filtering this stuff so we can get some useful information. So let's see. So when you filter for head, we're going to get the strongest headshot weapons, and this is with no armor or anything. So the strongest weapon in the game is the AWM Sniper Rifle. So it has the strongest headshot damage at 300, strongest neck damage at 200. I'm clicking on all these just to confirm. It's got the strongest clavicle, strongest upper chest, lower chest. It's got the strongest damage in every category, right? Okay. So we can say that that is the strongest gun. And then you look, it's kind of funny enough, the crossbow is like the second best weapon here, but obviously because of the fire rate and the inaccuracy of the crossbow, people don't use that. Then we have the M24, which is found in the crates. Obviously, everybody knows that's a great weapon. The Kar 98, obviously, single shot sniper rifle going to do a lot of damage. Surprisingly, the Winchester is up there, but that makes sense because you can't put it on attachment. So on and so forth. It's funny that the pan is on here. And something really interesting to notice is that the DP28 is on the top of the list with assault rifles and even SMGs. So this is something that is going to be a big theme in this game. And I'm just going to, spoiler alert, that the DP28 is way better than I thought, and I need to be using this gun a lot more. We got the Groza, and then, here's where, everybody is picking up the regular guns, right? Everybody's getting a SCAR, M4, AUG, M16, and these are all kind of in the same category here. They're all in the same headshot, all in the relatively similar neck damage, AK at the top of this list. These guns right here, the SCAR and the M4 and the AUG, the basic assault rifles, really have the same stats, and I think this is going to be changing in one of the future patches, at least on PC. But then the AK is definitely the strongest gun out of the assault rifles, but as we know, the AK is one of the least accurate guns. So all this damage stuff is great, but again, you can't just look at damage because you need to look at the rate of fire, the inaccuracy, and all that stuff. So you can put it on hits to kill, but if you put it on hits to kill, again, this is not really accurate because if you show, say, in the upper chest, let's see, the AWM, the SKS is 2 shots and the Kar is 2 shots, right, in the chest. But everybody knows the SKS shoots a lot faster than the Kar, so the time to kill is going to be faster. So realistically, I don't think there's a point in looking at hits to kill unless you're trying to analyze your accuracy or something like that. But to me, for the sake of just kind of like rounding and just general information, I really feel like damage and time to kill are the most important, with time to kill being the most important because that's what we're looking at here. So let's go to time to kill. So when we look at this, obviously the shotguns are going to be the highest here, especially at the 15-meter range. So we're kind of going to ignore them for right now. And let's filter at the head here. So we filter, we got, well, at the head, obviously, I guess the head, we should probably look at the upper chest because the head's going to be 0 for a lot of these things. Any of the strong guns, if you shoot somebody in the head, they're going to die immediately. So let's look at the upper chest here. So upper chest, obviously 0 for all the shotguns, immediate death if you're close and hit them dead on. Then we have, surprisingly, the Groza. So everybody knows this is a strong gun, and it's in it. After looking through all this data, the Groza is really strong up close, but then falls off at a farther range. We have the MK14, which is a very strong gun, and then the usual suspects here, the SLR, AKM, which we know is strongest assault rifle, SKS, the Mini 14, what I said before, the DP28, second in rank to the AKM in terms of assault rifles that are found regularly in the game. And then this is where it gets kind of surprising. Well, the Vector's not surprising, but the Micro Uzi is surprising, and then how far down the list the M4 is surprising here. So on the upper chest, this is actually has a higher time to kill than the M16, but we're talking fractions of a second here. This is 0.171 to 0.150, but everybody I play with always says, let's take the M4 over the 16. It's clearly the better rifle, but when you look at it, it's just across the board. When we look at some of these other stats, it's not always better, but it does have to kind of factor in your accuracy and stuff like that because it is less accurate, and if you don't get the shots on, then it won't be doing as much damage. But in terms of damage and time to kill, it is stronger than the M4, which I find interesting, at least in a lot of these areas. So this is great, but the only thing here is that this isn't realistic because in most of these situations, somebody's going to be wearing armor and a vest. So to me, the most realistic situation that you're going to come across in this game is running into people that are wearing a level 2 helmet and a level 3 vest. Yes, some people are going to be wearing a level 3 helmet. Yes, some people are going to be wearing a level 3 vest. But like I said, on average, this is what you're going to be running into. pretty common. If you're running to the end game, you're going to be facing people with at least this armor or better, usually, right? I mean, obviously there's exceptions. So when we go to this, now let's go back to the headshot. This is interesting. So we're looking at time to kill here. Well, you know, let's go back to damage. So we're looking at damage, headshot. So something that's interesting here, actually, I just want to show you guys the level. Let's just do level 3 helmet. The only gun that will kill a level 3 helmet in one shot is the AWM and the crossbow, which I found really interesting. And while we're here, we might as well just show it from a level 3 vest perspective too. So the strongest gun with a level 3 vest is the AWM, does 65 damage, and the crossbow does 51. And then again, similar thing. What's crazy is the pan does a lot of damage, which is interesting. The Win 94, Machete, a lot of these melee weapons actually do more damage, but obviously the time to kill would be insane, and the game is so glitchy on Xbox you wouldn't even be able to hit them with these, but they are really high. I guess they penetrate through the damage. So you know what, I guess, so let's go back to, I guess, you know what, for purposes, let's take away the level 2 helmet and level 2 vest and put on this, because then we know that they're going to have this or less, right? So I guess for all intents and purposes, it's probably better to use level 3 information. I'm going to change my mind midway through the video. I was kind of deciding which way I was going to go here before I filmed it, but we'll do this. So let's go to time to kill now with level 3 helmet and the level 3 vest. So we go to head. So the shotgun, again, at this range is going to be, you know, competing, but we'll see, we're seeing already here that like at the neck range, it's changing. And something that I want to show you guys too is if you look at the hit area damage here, it's showing that when you shoot somebody in the head, it does 100% of your weapon damage. The neck does 75%. This area does 100%. And for example, so if if the AWM does 130 damage, if you hit somebody in the shoulder, it's doing 130 damage. But if you hit them in the foot, it's only going to be doing 30% of that damage, so you're not going to kill them by hitting them in the foot with an AWM. It makes sense, right? So obviously you want to get all your shots in the area with the black range. If you hit them in the top of the chest, in the heart area, it's going to do 110% damage, which is even more, and in the head. So that's normally where we're firing, and obviously the area where you're going to get the most shots off, because it's the largest target, is going to be in the chest and shoulder area, and maybe the neck, and then the head. On top of that, most people are aiming for chest and head, but because the head is a smaller target, you don't always hit it. So let's go back down to the list. So we have the head here, the head statistics. So the AWM, this is with level 3 helmet, level 3 vest, 15 meters. Obviously, AWM is going to be an instant kill, 0 seconds, and it's the only weapon other than the shotguns to have that, not even and the crossbow, okay? So then the next, like I said, at this range, we're going to go to the Groza. If we do this, let's just show you guys 100 meters. Obviously, this is going to change significantly. Well, actually, the Groza still stays on there, but some of the list is going to change. If we do 200 meters, I expect this to change a lot. Okay, so now the Groza has dropped down, right? And the AWM and the sniper rifles are still there. So let's go back to 15 meters. Put that in. Okay, so we got just the usual suspects. Again, MK14, SLR, AKM, same guns that have been on every single list so far. And then again, the DP28 leads the assault rifles other than the AKM. And yeah, then we have the M16 and then the M4. Again, just, these are like really small percentages, but it makes a difference, especially when, you're playing a game when you only have one life and a limited amount of health. And then surprisingly, unfortunately here, this is where some stats kind of bum me out. And I'm surprised, is this wrong? The Car 98 here isn't showing, the Car 98 is pretty weak with the level 3 helmet, which is super unfortunate. I mean, I just realized this now watching this. I don't even get why how that's happening right now. And then obviously a lot of times I like to take the UMP. It's just a fun gun to use, and we know obviously it being a 9mm round, it's not going to be the strongest weapon in real life. They aren't the strongest guns, but then this is pretty big difference compared to having an AKM. So you really see the big difference between having an M16 when some people don't like this gun versus having the UMP, and it kind of makes me second guess taking the UMP now, even though it is pretty accurate. But we all know that the damage here is pretty important. So let's go. To me, I don't really like looking at the head. I mean, it's a spot that I think a lot of people would like to look at, but to me, I think you're going to be hitting people in the chest most of the time. So to me, this is the most important part of the video. Sorry, we're already like over 10 minutes, 15 minutes into this, but this is the most important part of the video, is damage on the upper chest when someone is wearing a level 3 vest, right? So if they're anything below this, it's just going to happen quicker. So what we have here is obviously shotguns are going to be doing a lot of damage, but it's only the first 3 shotguns. Then we're going to the MK14. So it really seems like if you have the MK14, this is the best gun to have, because not only is it one of the strongest guns, but the time to kill is really fast, and it's not as slow as some of the other rifles, right? Then here's where like a pretty big surprise and makes sense. You know, people always kind of say that the Vector is strong, but like don't pick it up because of the clip size and all this stuff. But it is shooting 45s, and it does shoot extremely fast. If you've ever used a Vector, it's one of the fastest shooting rifles. It just feels like it is in the game. Submachine guns, let's say. So this is where it shows that factors into something, because it's firing so fast. The time to kill is literally second behind the MK14 in terms of guns that aren't shotguns, right? Because I don't really like using the shotguns in this scenario. Obviously, if you're up close to somebody, the shotgun's going to do a lot of damage. So that's crazy. Then we have the M249, which is a weapon found in the crate. I think this is like the heavy machine gun. This makes sense. Obviously, this is going to be doing a ton of damage, but it's rare if you find it. Then this is huge, the SKS. I had heard that the SKS was really strong, and then I heard from some people that it's just the same damage as like an M16, which I guess in theory it is, and the time to kill is actually the same, but it does more damage on the neck. But the M16 does more damage. I mean, it does more damage on the head. The M16 does more damage on the neck. The SKS does more damage in the clavicle. The lower chest does less damage in the stomach, does more damage in the pelvis, upper limb. So so the SKS and M16 are kind of tied, and I find that really, really interesting. So when people tell you, you know, drop the M16 for this gun, I think you should reconsider and pick it up, because if you have a good scope, put that thing on single shot or even on burst. Well, that's the only 2 options, but if they're far away, you're going to want it on single shot. But up close, if you're firing burst into someone's chest, they're going to go down really, really fast. Then we have the SLR, the Groza. And then again, this is a big theme for me in this game, is that we see the DP28 is up on the list. The M16 is the first assault rifle, right? And then the DP28 is the second assault rifle on the list. Then if at the upper chest time is 0.327 of a second, okay? So then we got the M4 is just above it, but I mean, we're splitting hairs here, but it's still above it. Then the AKM is even at a 0.4. And then we get down to like an 0.461. Then even the AWM and all these guns are down here, right? So, you know, this information, we're talking about like fractions of a second, but the DPM does have a high rate of fire, and that's what contributes it to having a fast time to kill, including its damage, right? So this stuff is pretty interesting. So now, at least for me, when I find a Vector, I'm definitely going to focus on getting this gun and finding an extended mag for the SMG, because you just see up close, this gun is going to rip through people really fast in the chest. And then same thing, I'm going to stick with the SKS, and I'm going to be fine if I find an M16. I'm definitely going to be picking up the DP28. And then obviously I hate the micro Uzi, but if you're up close, this is, you know, going to take out people really, really fast. So let's move this to a 40 meter range now and see what changes here, just since we're here and I'm making this video right now. So I'll filter this again back to the upper chest, right? So changes from 15 meters to 40 meters. So now we're at like 45 yards, let's say. So half a football field. Again, going back to that reference, which I think is really helpful. And also, when you hit the back button, you probably already know this, but when you hit the back button in PUBG, the grid pops up on the screen. You can also see it when it's in the mini map, and the black lines make little squares, and each square is 100 meters in the game. So if someone's halfway through, they're about 50 meters. So I like to look at that as like, it's going to be a little bit bigger. Each square is a little bit bigger than a football field in each direction. Excuse me. So back to this level 3 helmet, 40 meters. And we're on the upper chest. So again, shotguns, the MK14, again, the Vector still at 40 meters, the M249. This list has pretty much stayed the same, which is crazy. So let's knock this up even more. So let's go to 90 meters, which is like 100 yards. Well, more than that. Let's just do 100 meters since we're here. 100 meters, one of those black lines on the circle. I mean, one of the black boxes in the menu. Again, MK14 still on the top of the list here, which is just amazing, and the upper chest damage. Then we got the SKS, so we know that that's strong, like I said. And then again, the M16 here, top of the list. The M4 is all the way down here. Again, we're splitting hairs here, fraction of a second. But the M16 stays on top of the list with the Groza. And then we see like the micro Uzi, the DP28 falling off, which is unfortunate for the DP28, right? I thought it would be doing a lot more damage here, but I guess because of the farther range and the inaccuracy of time to kill is going to be a little bit lower. So, but I find this stuff to be pretty fascinating here, that this is taking so long time to kill here at the end. Let's just do headshot for fun. We got the AWM, the Groza, SKS. Is something up with the Kar 98, or does the Kar 98 just not work with the level 3 helmet very well? So we got, let's see, where is the Kar 98? So for some reason, if someone's wearing a helmet, a level 3 helmet, unless the data is wrong here, the Kar 98 just does not work very well on a level 3 helmet. So let's go back to my original idea here, just so we could see how much the information changes. I know this is a lot of information, so I wonder if you guys are still sticking with me here. If anything, you can just go on this website and play around with it for yourself. I just wanted to kind of run through it here. So we got the upper chest here. Yeah, same data. We're looking at the same data. Let's go back to 50. Let's go back to like 50 meters here. Upper chest. We're looking at the shotguns, obviously. Then we're looking at the MK14, again, SKS, SLR, the DP28, the Vector, and the M16. This is the theme here. I mean, all this other data I feel like everybody really knows, but the fact that the DP28 mid-range to short range is going to be doing one of the hardest, fastest time to kill out of any assault rifle. In this case, at 50 meters with a level 2 vest, it is the fastest time to kill in the chest. Then it's followed by the Vector and then the M16. 3 guns that I feel like are underutilized in this game, which is really, really interesting and awesome. And then let's just go back to nothing here at 50 meters just to see what the regular gun stats are. And yeah, this is where, yeah, for the most part, pretty much the same. We got the Mini 14, DP28, the Vector, the micro Uzis up here because of the time to kill is going to be so fast. And just for shits and gigs, let's go. We're going back to level 2 helmet, level 2 vest. I just want to see what kind of damage the DPM is putting out. I mean, I've looked at all these stats, but it's hard to remember all of this stuff. So we're looking at upper chest damage. So the DPM, what's it like? So the DPM is doing 33.6 damage when the AKM is doing 32.3 damage in the chest. So pretty close here, but if you hit somebody with 3 shots with the AKM, you're doing less than 100 damage. It's like 98 damage or something like that, right? 32 times 3 is 96, and then 0.3. So you're doing 97 damage. You hit someone with 3 bullets. You hit someone with 3 bullets with a DP28, they're dead. So that's super interesting right there. I mean, such a small thing, but like, hey, if you miss that 4th bullet, it could be the instance of you dying instead of staying alive. And then again, down this list, where's the M4 here? The M4 is actually above the M16 at a 50 meters chest level. So this is interesting. Is this just a level 3 chest thing here? Or it's just a meter thing so I'm sorry, we're looking at damage. So the damage, so that's funny. So the M4, I guess it has the same amount of damage as the M16. That's the thing. So it has better damage, but the time to kill, it just shoots faster than the M16 because it's so much farther up on this list. The M16, then we go down to the M4. So let's look at hits to kill here. What's making the difference? So the hits to kill, when we look at an M16, it's 4 shots to the chest, and I'm guessing the M4 has to be less than that. I mean, more than that. The M4 is 4, so it's the same amount of shots. So the one thing this website doesn't show is the shot rate, the rate of fire. So the rate of fire of the M16 must just be greater enough to the point where it makes a fraction of a difference in the time to kill. So I don't know. I think I might be beating a dead horse here. Basically, check out what guns you're using on this list. Check out the scenarios in which you guys are shooting people in. If you're more of a long distance player, if you like to get up close and shoot people close distance, play around with the level 2 helmet and level 2 vest first. I think that's nice to like, because that's just what a lot of times people are going to have. And also think about, where you're shooting people most of the time. If you even, are accurate with shooting, and look at these stats. I find it very interesting. I know that, again, I'm going to say it again, I'm going to be focusing on the Vector and the DP28 a lot. And I also have some defense here because a lot of times I choose the M16 over the M4 and my friends all make fun of me. And I'm like, I've always felt that the M16 feels better to me because I can put off a quick burst, and I feel like I drop people pretty fast, like really far away across the map with a couple single shots or the burst. And now I kind of see why that it's a fraction different. And if you can get those shots on somebody, you're going to take them down a lot quicker. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Check out this website. I'll link it down in the description box below, and also the link to the other tutorial video. Again, this is battlegrounds.party, and as always, I'm Blitz5. Thank you all for watching. Check me out on social media. I'm on all platforms at Blitz5, and I recently created a PUBG Instagram called PUBG Blitz, where I'm sharing some funny moments, fails, awesome winner chicken dinner clips, and all that stuff. So thank you all for watching. I'm Blitz5, and peace out.